Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Philadelphia 76ers vs San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio entered the season with low expectations after diving into the rebuilding process in the offseason. The Spurs' 2021-22 season ended with a loss to New Orleans in the opening game of the play-in tournament, finishing with a 34-48 record. They blew open their offseason in late June when they traded all-star point guard Dejounte Murray to Atlanta for Danilo Gallinari and 3 first-round picks. Murray led the team in scoring last season, and his absence was felt in San Antonio's season opener on Wednesday. The Spurs struggled to get anything going offensively, getting blown out by Charlotte in a 129-102 final at home. Fortunately for Philadelphia, the fate of an NBA season is not decided in the opening week. The 76ers are coming off a pair of losses earlier this week, falling at Boston in a 126-117 final on Tuesday and a 90-88 decision against Milwaukee on Thursday. They fell into an early hole against the Bucks and were unable to take the lead until there were less than 2 minutes remaining. Milwaukee's Wesley Matthews hit a three-pointer with 26 seconds remaining, though, which ended up being the game-winning bucket. Power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo led the Bucks with 21 points, 13 rebounds and 8 assists. San Antonio might be in for its worst season yet during the Popovich era. The Spurs fully embraced the rebuilding process when they traded Murray during the offseason, and his loss was evident in the season opener against Charlotte. San Antonio did not draft any players who are going to step in and immediately fill the void left behind by Murray. This is also a terrible scheduling spot as the Spurs are on the back end of a back-to-back. Philadelphia is motivated following a pair of losses to quality teams, and the 76ers are 11-4 in their last 15 games as favorites. Our team pick is Philadelphia for the win. The San Antonio Spurs opened the regular season with a 27-point loss at home to the Charlotte Hornets, and much of that was due to poor shooting and rebounding. San Antonio shot only 40.4% overall and a disastrous 20.6% from behind the three-point line. Leading scorer Keldon Johnson shot only 47.1% and Devin Vassell shot a miserable 20.0%, hitting just 3 of 15 shots. Johnson scored 20 points, while Jacob Poeltl and Tre Jones have each scored 14 points. The Philadelphia 76ers must improve on the offensive end, as Philadelphia is scoring an average of only 102.5 points per game, which is 27th in the NBA. Philadelphia is shooting 46.6% overall, which is 11th best, and 31.0% from behind the three-point line, which is 21st. James Harden is off to a strong start for Philadelphia, averaging 33.0 points per game, and Joel Embiid is second in scoring, with an average of 20.5 points per game, but Embiid is shooting only 38.5% overall. Harden is shooting 57.9% overall, but only 37.5% from three-point territory. Harden is the leader in assists with an average of 8.0 dishes per contest. Philadelphia is coming off a loss to Milwaukee, in which a total of 178 points were scored, as the 76ers only put up 88 points on the board but did hold Milwaukee to 90. The total has finished under in 9 of Philadelphia's last 13 games and in 5 of the last 6 games that the 76ers have played on their home court. San Antonio could be a bit sluggish as the Spurs will play the second game in as many nights. Our total pick under the total. Indiana Pacers vs Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons are 1-1 thus far in the season and look like a team that has an improved future. In the opener, Detroit utilized the skill set of a veteran player to complement their youth to pick up a 113-109 victory over the Magic. Bojan Bogdanovic, picked up from the Jazz in the offseason, scored 24 points in his Pistons debut, while youngsters Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham combined for 37 points. On Friday night, against the Knicks in New York, the road proved to be much less welcoming for the young team. The Pistons shot just 43% from the field overall, 25% from three-point range, and hit just over 60% of their free throws. Second-year forward Saddiq Bey led the way with 26 points and 7 rebounds in a 130-107 loss. Like their opponent on Saturday night, the Pacers are in the midst of a rebuild. The team decided to part with a number of veterans at last year's trade deadline and may decide to move on from another this year at the deadline in big man Miles Turner. Turner, still just 26, may be a useful big man for a team with championship aspirations and would likely benefit from a change of scenery. Turner has been injured to start the season, and the Pacers sit at 0-2 after 2 games. On Friday night, the Pacers lost a shootout to the Spurs 137-134 for their second straight home defeat. Indiana was led by Tyrese Haliburton with 27 points, and rookie Benedict Mathurin, from Arizona, added 26 points, but missed a chance to tie the game by throwing up an airball three-point attempt at the buzzer. The Pacers got 79 points from their bench in the loss. Consistency is always tough to come by in matchups of two teams that feature young players. The Pacers have a bit more experience on their side, but feature a suspect defense. In 2 games, they have allowed an average of 125.5 points and allowed the opposition to shoot over 50% from the field. In both games, the Pacers have gotten off to slow starts in each game and had to attempt furious comebacks in each. The Pistons, while even more youthful than the Pacers, have shown the ability to play slightly better defense and have been a bit more protective of the basketball. Cunningham, in just his second year, looks like a future all-star and has thrived in the role of point forward after struggling to start his NBA career trying to play off the ball. Look for the Pistons to take advantage of the Pacers' slow starts and squeak out a tough road win. Our team pick is Pistons minus 1.5 points. This Detroit Pistons team might not be in contention for the playoffs this season, but have a lot of excitement with their young players, as point guard Cade Cunningham is entering his second year in the league and is ready to do well. Rookie Jaden Ivey talked to reporters after his first game and was glowing about the performance of another rookie on the team, Jalen Duren. That does not mean this team is going to be a pushover as they tested the San Antonio Spurs, as they made the game close down the stretch by outsourcing the Spurs 49-35 in the final quarter, as they are a young team trying to out-hustle their opponents. Point guard Tyrese Haliburton will have to lead the way, and he did on Friday by finishing with 27 points and 12 assists in the game. Their defense also leaves a lot to be desired, as they are giving up an incredible 125.5 points to the Wizards and the Spurs. This could be a long season with the ping-pong balls of the NBA draft being in their favor. These teams do not know how to defend well at all, as we posted their points per game allowed thus far. I do not expect the defense to do much better, as this is the second half of a back-to-back for both teams, and it seems like the defense will be a tad worse than usual. Tyrese Haliburton has shown to be a dominant scorer, and he is going to be able to shoot at will, especially with Miles Turner out of action. Detroit has a lot of shooters like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Ivey, and NBSP, veteran Bojan Bogdanovic, so they will be able to rain deep shots and make things interesting. The over has hit in 7 of the last 8 games against one another played in Indiana, so go with the over to hit in this game as well. Our total pick is over the total. Orlando Magic vs Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics want to prove that last year's run to the NBA Finals was not a fluke and have started the season in grand fashion by upending 2 Eastern Conference power teams in Philadelphia and Miami. The Celtics, the NBA's #1 defense in 2021-22, have done it with their offense thus far. The Celtics have shot over 50% in each of their first 2 games and gotten marquee performances from their 2 stars, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, in each win. The duo combined for 70 points in the opening night win over Philadelphia, with each scoring 35 points, and then combined for 57 points on Friday night in a 111-104 win over the Heat. They are now 2-0 under interim coach Joe Mazzulla and get set for the second half of this first back-to-back set on Saturday in Orlando. The Orlando Magic certainly look like they've found a player in #1 overall pick Paolo Banchero. In his first NBA game against Detroit, Banchero poured in 27 points to go along with 9 rebounds and 5 assists in his NBA debut. Despite the 4-point loss on the road, Banchero gave long-suffering Magic fans hope. He joined Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James as the only #1 pick since 1969 to have at least 25 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists in his NBA debut. Banchero followed that up on Friday night by recording his first ever double-double, scoring 20 points and pulling down 12 rebounds in a 10-point loss to the Hawks. So far, the jump to the NBA does not appear to be overwhelming for the 19-year-old out of Duke. It is far too early in the season to be concerned about fatigue in the first back-to-back games for each team. Boston has shot over 50% in each of their first 2 games and pulled away in the second half against 2 very good teams, Philadelphia and Miami. It is unlikely that the Celtics will overlook the Magic this early in the season, and Boston thumped Orlando last year in both games on the road. Granted, this Orlando team is slightly different with the addition of Banchero, but the rookie has also yet to run into a defensive team quite like the Celtics. Boston is deep, talented and can send waves of bodies at Banchero to keep the rookie off guard and wear him down. On the defensive end, Tatum and Brown are both capable of drawing fouls on the young rookie, and that will cause issues with the Magic. Lastly, Orlando is shooting under 30% from 3-PT range, which will be a problem against a Boston team that has been on fire to start the season. Our team pick is Boston -6.5 points. The Boston Celtics will be dependent on shooting guard Jaylen Brown to help carry the offensive load this season. He is second in the league in scoring as he is averaging 35 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals in 39 minutes on the court. He shot the ball well as he is shooting 58.3% from the floor, 33.3% from beyond the arc, and 100% from the free throw line. He is going to have to flex on the defensive side as well as be a key contributor on the offensive side of the floor if he wants to be doing extremely well. Power forward Paolo Banchero is coming into the league as the first overall pick and is expected to lead the Orlando Magic this season. He had a very solid NBA debut as he is averaging 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and a pair of blocks in 35 minutes on the court. He has to showcase his ability shooting the ball as he is 61.1% from the floor, did not attempt a single shot from the 3-point line, and 71.4% from the charity stripe. This is a very young team that needs to showcase their abilities, and Banchero can definitely lead them here. The Boston Celtics began to turn their season around last year when having the defensive side be a point of emphasis. According to Dunks and Threes, these teams have been playing slower than league average in terms of pace, as Boston is 24th in the league with 96.5 possessions per 48 minutes, while Orlando is 16th in the sport with 102 possessions per 48 minutes thus far. Both teams are not too great on the offensive rebounding part of the game, as the Magic is tied for 17th with 10 offensive rebounds thus far, while the Celtics are tied for 25th in the NBA with 6 offensive rebounds this year. The under has hit in 6 of the last 7 games between these teams played inside of the Amway Center, so go with the under to hit 2. Chicago Bulls vs Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers did not make it to the playoffs last season, as they have made multiple adjustments to try and make a run. They traded for Donovan Mitchell, and they also picked up Ricky Rubio and Robin Lopez. According to dunksandthrees.com, the Cavaliers have an adjusted offensive rating of 107.8, which is the 18th highest rating in the league. They are also scoring 105 points per game and shooting 49.4% from the field. This is the 23rd most points scored and the 5th highest team shooting percentage. Cleveland also showed that they could step behind the 3-point line and knock down shots from deep. They shot 35.7% from behind the arc in their first game of the season, as this is the 13th highest percentage in the NBA. I would also watch for Cedi Osman and Donovan Mitchell, as they are leading the team in points this season and they can knock down shots from deep. Cleveland took advantage of their free throw attempts as well, as they shot 82.6% from the stripe. This is the 8th highest free throw shooting percentage in the NBA, as they haven't let these free points go to waste. The Chicago Bulls lost in the first round of the playoffs last season, as the Bucks easily took them down. They are now coming back after signing Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond. They also re-signed Zach Lavin, but he is currently out with a knee injury. On offense, the Bulls have an adjusted offensive rating of 109.2, which is the 11th highest in the league. They efficiently scored the ball against the Heat in the first game of their season, as they shot 44.1% from the floor and scored 116 points. This is the 7th most points scored per game and the 19th highest team shooting percentage. I would watch for DeMar DeRozan, as he continues to be this team's leading scorer. He averaged 27.9 points per game last season, and he dropped 37 in his first night back. Chicago also showed that they had multiple players that could step behind the arc and get hot. They are shooting 36.1% from behind the arc, which is the 12th highest shooting percentage in the league. Unfortunately, the Bulls did struggle to shoot at the free throw line. They shot 75% in Game 1, as this is the 18th lowest percentage in the NBA. They can't continue to miss these free points if they want to make a run at the postseason this year. I will be riding with the Chicago Bulls plus 1.5 in this matchup against the Cavaliers. Chicago was the better team last year, and I see them starting this season hot again. DeMar DeRozan looked unstoppable in his first game back, as he scored 37 points. He couldn't be stopped, and I see him carrying that momentum over into this game. Chicago is also scoring the 7th most points as a team, and they showed that they could make it difficult for their opponents to score. They are currently giving up the 12th least amount of points per game, as they will be able to lock in on Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell was the leading scorer for Cleveland in their loss to the Raptors, and I see him trying to take over in this one as well. The Cavs are currently scoring the 23rd most points per game, and they allowed the Raptors to get hot from deep. They lack perimeter defense, as the Bulls will make them pay from the outside. Chicago shot 36.1% from deep in their first game, and I see them staying hot in this one as well. Cleveland will struggle to slow down Chicago when they have the ball, and they will struggle to score when Mitchell isn't on the floor. Darius Garland is still questionable, as I would hammer the Bulls if he doesn't play. Chicago also has the 7th lowest adjusted defensive rating in the league, as I see them locking up the Cavs in this game. Cleveland will struggle on offense, and the Bulls will keep this game very close. Pick Chicago and take the points, plus 1.5. The Cleveland Cavaliers are averaging 105 points on 49.4% shooting and allowing 108 points on 41.9% shooting. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 31 points and 9 assists, while Cedi Osman is averaging 17 points and 3 rebounds. Evan Mobley is the 3rd double-digit scorer, and Jarrett Allen is grabbing 10 rebounds. The Cleveland Cavaliers are shooting 35.7% from beyond the arc and 82.6% from the free throw line. The Cleveland Cavaliers are allowing 43.3% shooting from deep and are grabbing 38 rebounds per game. Our total pick is over the total.